Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Does it squeal or grind when you brake? Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
All right, HBCU Legends fans, it's Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. I'm here with Coach Daryl Steward. About to drop some knowledge on you guys before we head into the weekend. Cole, how you doing?
Doing well this evening, Mr. Mose. How about yourself?
Oh, man, it is the weekend, but it's going to be a busy weekend, dude. We got scrimmages at Prairie View A&M. We also have a night scrimmage that's going to happen over at Texas Southern. They don't really want to call it a scrimmage, but it's going to be like that. But we're going to have some good times to be able to cover some HBCU football down here in the Houston area. But guys, before we go on, thank you for the support. Thank you for following us and being able to download our podcast over the past couple of months. Don't forget, go to hbculegends.net to be able to read up on all of the content on our Sports Illustrated site. And also you can be able to follow us at HBCU Legends on all social media platforms. All right, Cole, let's talk about what's happening out there in HBCU world. Well, the most puzzling, but not so shocking, as I told you, man, I knew it. I knew something was going to be going down at FAMU. It never fails, right? And the interim president, Dr. Beard, Timothy Beard, has released, or he pretty much forced resignations of his senior leadership team, which included Tiffany Dawn Sykes, who was the vice president and director of intercollegiate athletics for the Rattlers. So right now, the Rattlers are without a true AD. Michael Smith has taken over that position in an interim basis. He's been with the Rattlers for the past, 25 years, Cole? And right now, that situation has a lot of people talking in HBCU sports world. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's very shocking because, you only got, 1 week left before the first game, and they have South Carolina State week 1. It's going to be a tough game, and people can say what they want to say. The athletic director position, Mr. Mosley, is a very, very important position towards football. And you got to be on the same page. You're talking about meals, you're talking about hotels, you're talking about ordering shoes for the players. You're just talking about a whole bunch of things that have to go along with the first game. And to release your athletic director a week before the game, man, it makes you wonder, whatever they did, it couldn't wait. I just don't understand some of our presidents. I just don't think what she did, you mean to tell me it couldn't wait till the end of the semester? She's not that type of a lady. She carries herself well. But business is business. I don't know what occurred, but clearly, Kyle, unless it's devastating, I would have waited to the end of the season.
Well, good point. Here's the counterpoint. I think from getting some feedback from alumni and being able to hear some insider talk, I think the complete overhaul of the senior leadership team was something that kind of precipitated from the downfall from Dr. Robinson's decision to be able to have the hemp farmer to come in and deliver the commencement speech, the black eye on the FAMU community as a result. Plus, there's a lot of pressure from the governor's office I'm told, alleged pressure, I should say, that they wanted to get somebody in where they can start manipulating some of the leadership in FAMU and at FAMU. So I don't know how true that is, but I know there had been some previous talks that Dr. Robinson was feeling some pressure from the governor of Florida about how to run the institution. So this could have been one of those ends for that administration to be able to do so. So I don't know. And again, that's some insider told us at HBCU Legends that was a possibility. So I don't know. And I just do know this. It's very concerning in my opinion. And it's very concerning, like you said, it's not just the start of football season that makes it concerning. It's the start of the semester for the new year for these not only student athletes, but also the young students who are coming into Florida A&M, whatever year you are, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, graduate student, whatever, to have that change in leadership in some of the academic areas was the concern as well. And I didn't know why that had to be immediate, but he didn't really want to expand on the decision why it was immediate. He said he deferred, let me get it right, he deferred on any personnel issues that he preferred not to speak about it in public. That's what he said. So, I don't know, Cole. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, though, what you said, not just football, you're talking about fall track, you're talking about volleyball, and then when you get to October, you're talking about basketball. You're just talking about so many things that your new athletic director has to really come in and get a jump on. You're talking about physicals. You're talking about eligibility. I mean,
Compliance issues, right?
Yeah, compliance issues. It's a real nail biter when you're talking about firing an AD before the season, before the start of school. I just think this could have waited, and but in Coach Cole's eyes, you look at it as this: hey, could this be a grace year? FAMU fans probably don't want to hear about being the defending champs. But when you look at it, to be fair to him, Kyle, there's no way. I mean, of course he's gonna try to win every game, but this is definitely gonna be a damper on that program.
I can see that as a possibility. That is plausible, man. But I can also see if Florida A&M or the board of trustees, governors, or whomever is the part of the decision making when they select a new president, right? That I wouldn't be too far off to say if that new president would want their own football coach. That has happened before in football. I mean, not in football, just in collegiate sports and college as well. They want to get people who they're familiar with, who they're pleased with as well. There's been a lot of turmoil, especially with AD Sykes having the issue with how they went about the football search. Then she had the problems with the board of trustees when they presented the contract offer to the basketball coach, Coach Crary, right? And the board of trustees decided, no, we didn't want to give this guy a 3-year deal. We wanted to go ahead and give him a 1-year deal. And it's like, prove it, because they felt other qualified candidates were on that candidate list. So, I mean, all in all, it's been a lot to deal with over the past couple of seasons, even though she has had some good success, man. Think about it. You know, football championship, that's the pinnacle for any athletic department to say they are the HBCU Division One national champions, right?
Right.
And then they won a SWAC championship in baseball her first season, and a couple other sporting championships here and there for her under her tenure. So all in all, I think she's had a successful run, man. So how do you see her career going forward?
I mean, that's a good question, Kyle. Of course, we got two athletic director positions that's open right now. Mississippi Valley needs an athletic director. Alcorn needs an athletic director as well. And of course, call it what you want to call it. You know, you hear a lot of things, but anytime you can go into an athletic director interview, she does, like you say, Kyle, she does have a championship. And that's going to sing a number of people around her to look at that. That's going to add value to her resume, and it's nothing you can do about that. You
Yeah.
want it, and so But I mean, I see it going up. I mean, I just can't. You hear a lot of athletic directors and people talking about the family issue. Of course, a lot of people have said that they would have waited. Let bygones be bygones. Think about the student athletes. It's no way you can't tell me unless the governor made it a decision to do it now. There's no way you couldn't have waited to the end of the year for the kids' sake, because you want all the student athletes, whether it be female or male, to have a good student experience at the university. And Kyle, think about this. This same situation happened with McNair at Alcorn when they lost the AD. They had to cancel their season. Remember, they had the trainers. A lot of paperwork wasn't done. And McNair made the call. He's like, I can't do it. It's just, and so is this going to be fair, Coach Koza? I think Coach Koza is in a tight predicament right now, Kyle. He has to win because I believe what you just said, new administration in HBCU, you can forget about it. New administration, they're going to bring in their own coach. And for his sake, he has to win.
Yeah, that's just business, man. And look, I deal with employers all the time when they're making decisions behind current employees' backs, where they're influencing deals because they want to make changes, and changes do happen, and that's a part of the business world. All right, Coach. Let's segue into Coach Fred McNair, but before we do that, I would like to say to you guys, follow Coach and myself on HBCU Legends, and you go to HBCU Legends on all our social media platforms to be able to download our podcast as well. Thank you for all the support. All right, let's talk about Coach Fred McNair, man. Very interesting conversation that he had with HBCU Locked On podcast. Dorian does a great job over there. It was very calm. He spoke about his reasoning for leaving. What are your opinions about what he opened up about the situation?
Well, it was very shocking to me. I felt like Kyle, when you listen to him, he feels kind of hurt, by that being his program, his school. And, he kind of wanted to do like the rest of the legends, like the Eddie Robinsons, the Pete Richardson. When you build a legacy like the 4 SWAC championships, he wanted to kind of go out right there. And he said some things that was disturbing, when you listen to a lot of other people talk about the podcast and say, well, man, a lot of people are saying Alcorn did him wrong. And then you have those people who were saying that, hey, it was time for Alcorn to move on. And so do you really, my biggest thing, he did have a losing season. Uh, he lost the game he shouldn't have lost. But, do you fire him, Kyle? Or do you move on from him? I think he was right in wanting to leave out on his own terms. Uh, I think the Texas Southern situation it never should have happened. And I believe if they would have came to Coach McNair with a contract and sit down and talk to him, I believe he would have stayed at Alcorn. But he says he's happy at Southern. But, when you listen to other people say, well, why, if he's happy, why show his feelings? Why show the world that he's upset or not on the same page or hadn't moved on from Alcorn? And you got to understand, this was his first head coaching job. He didn't come in with a big resume, a couple high school gigs, but when it's your first, it's gonna be kind of special, Kyle. And I just felt like he spilled the beans. He was hurt, but you gotta move on, Kyle. I mean, I know he's in assistant role. When I had a chance to see Southern University last week, even myself looking at him in an assistant role, it looked kind of different. It just didn't look like he was. He
didn't look like himself. Let's just be honest.
Right.
It just didn't look like himself. And listening to him, well, you know what, guys? Let's take a listen to it right now.
I'm going to transition from a place where I've been very comfortable, went to school here, have family roots here, been the coach here for nearly a decade. What went into the decision to say I'm going to look elsewhere?
The biggest thing is sometimes that when you're at a place so long and the place that you love and you're a two-time graduate of the university, it gave you the opportunity to get my BS and my master's. You tend to love the place that you graduated from, your alma mater. But at the same time, you think that your alma mater have to love you too. And things that you.
Right there, Coach.
Yeah.
Your alma mater has to love you too.
Right. That's what gave the red flag to all the listeners.
All right, hold on. Let's continue.
Done and in the past and the winning traditions that we've had and the championship that we brought in as a coaching staff, but I think some of the things that I really expected to happen didn't happen, and just coming from the leadership and things that wasn't done right.
Things were not done right.
Right.
Man, all right, let's finish it.
But I thought that at that time it was a great time for me to say, cut my ties with it, and just sometimes you lose a lot of sleep at night of some of the things that you can't control, and when that stuff started happening, and you're not really happy anymore, it's time to move on and find your happy place, So, the biggest thing for me that it was bittersweet, but I have to do something for myself to kind of make myself happy and unstressful and at a place now where I can sit back and kind of enjoy myself and be in a position coach and hopefully one day the opportunity will come again.
Wow, Coach, that's a lot to unpack.
Well, now you can see why it has 15,000 views. It's a lot of the listeners wanted to know what really happened, and there you have it, Kyle.
Yeah. I can't blame Coach because I know being in a leadership position, and if you're in a leadership position for a long time, it can be a love lost type of role. Does that make sense?
Right.
I mean, you love it, but something's still gonna be lost.
Right.
Hear my boys sing, "Where did we go wrong?" But I wouldn't say that it's not a situation that, in my opinion,
Right.
because I think there's been changes at leadership there as well, right?
Right.
Could he go back? If this season doesn't work out for Coach Thomas, could they open the door and bring him back?
Well, I tell you like this, he's definitely in shape enough to go back. You know, he still has some years left. But Kyle, listening to that, I clearly, from what I gathered and from talking to some Braves, I don't think he's on the same page with the new administration there. I don't think he'll go back. Clearly, there's some bad blood there. I mean, because, you know, the staff stayed. And when you talk about staff staying and then the head coach is gone, then somewhere down the line, the communication was not on the same page. And, you know, it's just one of those things where we said on the Ralph Cooper show, we have to get better at being on the same page in HBCU, especially with the presidents and the head coaches. I mean, you look at over the past years, you know, when the head coaching position make a change. You look at what Willie Simmons went through. He wasn't on the same page with Dr. Roberts. Moved on. You looked at a lot of the other head coaches. It's just this same old. What can we do to get on the same page and be as one, Kyle? That's my question to you.
Pray. You can pray. And I'm saying this, guys, and I'm saying it tongue in cheek, but I'm saying this as we've got to do a better job communicating across the board.
Right.
We have a lot of assumptions and presumptions. We have a lot of ridicule and backstab.
Right.
All that should never be at that level, especially in institutions of higher learning. But the devil is busy. and I'm just saying, man, when you have somebody of Coach McNair's stature, not having trainers for him, remember that happened 2 seasons ago, right? Not having trainers, not being able to fill your team with that type of support. There's breakdowns across the board, and I don't recall who was the AD at that time, but those are things that you want to clean up as a whole. And I understand after, like you said, going through school, 2 masters, I mean, you've been through a lot. You've seen your brother be a hero and a superstar there. You are a hero quarterback yourself. You've seen your other brother wide receiver there. You know, so you've seen your family really grow up in the Braves community, and you know, and when you get to a point, sometimes you may have to take a step back or two. And this may be a great thing for Coach McNair to take a step back and have a program that's going to be willing to have some sort of leadership, capable leadership to take them to the next level after this season. You know, we've had quite a bit changes in HBCU football over the past 3 seasons, right? And I don't think changes will ever stop, to be honest with you. So right now, I don't know if he's going to stay, if it'll be a time where he can stay in the SWAC or go to the MEAC or go elsewhere. You know, you can't tell me that he can't help a program to win. And I think that's one of the major reasons why Coach Graves brought him in.
Yeah, you know, when I first heard about the interview, Kyle, you know, what puzzled me is like what we just heard. You know, when a superstar that was pretty much raised in that school, family went to the school, says the institution has to love you back. that's very disheartening. That's something you gotta really look at. You know, that even when the Jackson State people heard it, it was like, wow. I mean, Alcorn doesn't love Fred McNair.
Yeah.
And you know, that was a red flag, Kyle. And so
But
some
Coach,
people
hold on, man. I'm gonna say this, and I have to put these Jackson State people on blast a little bit. I know they're gonna get on me, but I was in the stadium at the SWAC championship in the stadium, and they're playing One Monkey Don't Stop No Show. While Coach Prime is down on the sidelines, man.
yeah.
No, with the rumors that he may be leaving, One Monkey Don't Stop No Show, and people dancing and hey, yeah, that's right. Did this man not come in and bring you championships?
Yeah,
Did he not bring you some exciting times, some pride to the Tiger Nation, or whatever you want to call yourselves, right?
He did that.
So what was that about? Saying One Monkey Don't Stop No Show. Why would you even play that song? And it went through the PA system. That's what I couldn't understand. All right. So anyway, love is, what's that old song? It's a thin line between love and hate. Yeah, it's a thin line between love and hate. And hopefully Coach McNair will get some love coming up. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the young men that were put on the HBCU Black College Football Hall of Fame's watch list for Player of the Year. And we're going to talk about what Shalomi Sanders had some things to say about her time over at Colorado. And we'll talk about some other goings on in HBCU football. I'm Hamilton Mosley. That's Coach Daryl Steward. We shall be back in a few minutes. All right, Cole, we are back, man. All right. It's been a very active and entertaining off season so far, and in less than 2 weeks, we're going to kick off some football down in Atlanta, GA. But let's talk about what's happening down in Atlanta, GA with Clark Atlanta University. Did you see that red field that these guys have?
Long time coming, Clark, the AUC Center, Clark Spillman and Morehouse, man, a very, very fine place to go to school at. Long time coming. I'm very happy for the new coach over there. You know, they got the legend coach L.C. Cole over there at Clark.
Uh-oh.
So, I think they're going to do some great things. They have a great facility, and very proud of their administration. Seems like their administration, Kyle, is all in on football.
All in, not only football. Remember, they also made a change, I believe, in basketball. But, yeah, they are all in, man. They brought in a red football field, kind of similar to what you see what Boise State would have. It's something like that, right? And it's red and black, man. It is something to see. I'm telling you, it's going to put some hurting on some eyes. But it's very distinctive and it's very unique. So they call it their $1 million field. And the Panthers are going to be ready to take on some of the SIAC talent that's going to come in, especially like Morehouse after we whooped up on them at the last game of the season last year. Yeah, I can say that because that's the only game Morehouse won.
It definitely doesn't have an excuse now because it's going to recruit itself. They should be able to get some players in behind this. Facilities recruit too. I tell coaches all the time.
You're right.
Just recruit great players.
That's right, man. The facilities are part of the equation. If you have nice facilities, that's why every season in the National Football League, they have those anonymous surveys that they send out to the players, right, through the NFLPA, and they rate the facilities. That's one of it, of the equation. And if If your facilities are jacked up, they let people know. If your food service is jacked up, they let you know, right? If the PR department mistreats the families, the players let them know as well, man. So it is important, and it is a part of the whole process. Also, Livingstone College, another HBCU, several seasons ago, they put a similar type of field, but theirs is like a blue field. So that's some interesting stuff that was out there on HBCU Game Day. But, Coach,
If people are dieting now more than ever before, then why are nearly 1 in 3 American adults overweight? Dr. Gundry, who's helped thousands lose weight and feel younger and healthier than ever, says most people are not getting enough fat-burning MCTs from their food. MCTs are a special kind of compound that, instead of turning into fat when you consume it, turns into ketones, which is a chemical that breaks down the excess fat in your body. So, by getting more MCTs in your diet, you essentially flip a switch that puts your body in caloric bypass mode, which can flush out excess fat and calories. And he's created an easy way for you to activate caloric bypass right at home. It's called MCT Wellness. This powerful blend of fat-flushing MCT powders and antioxidant-rich polyphenols is designed to help you unlock your body's fat-burning, energy-producing potential. What's even better is that it's a delicious drink. I love how incredible it tastes. All you do is add a scoop to water, enjoy, and watch as you start feeling slimmer and more energized. So, if you want to experience a quick, easy, and effective way to melt pounds fast, go to countrymd.com/energy and order right now to get up to 53% off your regular price order with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's GUNDRYMD.com/energy.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
let's talk about, we were able to break the news for the Black College Football Hall of Fame when they put out their 2024 Black College Football Player of the Year award watch list. That's a lot to say, which is presented to the most outstanding football player in all HBCU. Coach and Doug and Shaq, Tiffany Green, as well as Jay Walker, they and Ty Miller were a part of the selection committee for the 50 players. And again, no Andrew Body on this list, but he can be added to the list if he does perform throughout the season. What's your thoughts about the list and what you've seen or heard about so far?
I think right now, I got 2 people. I think the quarterback at Grambling,
Miles, right?
Miles Crowley, and I think the running back at Jackson State, Aaron Mulligan. I think if he stays injury free, it's gonna come down to these 2 players. These are two dynamic players, Kyle, that can do it all. You know, and I think if they stay focused, take one game at a time, I think it's gonna come down to those 2 players.
Wow. Okay. All right. Do you think any defensive guys have a shot at it?
It's so many great defensive players. The most dominant defensive player that I think will be Malachi Baylor, defensive lineman that's at Alcorn, first team defensive guy. Now, if he stays dominant and, you know, get 3 or 4 sacks a game, then I think he could be the guy, along with the linebacker that transferred from Pine Bluff, the Dozier kid that's at Alabama State.
Yeah, Rico.
Yeah, Rico. I think if those 2 players stay dominant week in and week out, and of course, you know, Coach Robinson made a great point. To win these awards, you got to win the championship. And that's why I put those players in, because they have a chance to win it all.
So in your opinion, they will be competing with their team to win the championship before the end of the season.
Right.
And Alabama State is high on many people's lists. Alabama State, we're going to talk a little bit more about them. But again, Florida A&M was voted number one on box to roll by the media, not the coaches this time.
Sorry.
I was very, very, very surprised, but not so surprised. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because most of the media that covers HBCUs that is on the box to roll committee is mostly East Coast. And most of those guys know Florida A&M from what they have done. And, of course, they're not too familiar with what's happening out west of Florida or what's happening west of Maryland, Virginia area, those places. So that's why I was surprised somewhat, not so surprised somewhat. But we talked about Florida A&M's situation. Why would people overlook Alabama State so much? Is it because they're just not aware of what Eddie Robinson Jr. has been putting together in his program over in Montgomery? Is that a part of it, or is that they're kind of waiting to see how they prove themselves on the field?
Simply, Kyle. It's been a long time coming for them on championship watch, and they hadn't won it, since the Reggie Barlow days, and it's been a long time. I think game one is going to be very important. If he wins game one against Central, then he's on his way. And I think that's what everybody is waiting on. Can he beat Central in a big game? And if, like I said, if he wins game one, watch out, because Eddie Robinson and the Hornets, they're going to be knocking on that championship door.
Well, that's a good question. When we look at the Orange Blossom Classic with Alabama State taking on North Carolina Central, does the winner have, I would say, a leg up on the loser?
Most definitely. Most definitely. You can't leave Trey the Truth Oliver out, man. You can't leave him out. If he wins, then he'll have a leg up. I mean, if Coach Robinson wins, then he'll have a leg up. But, the experience, everybody's looking at the experience on this. This is Alabama State first big one, and they have a lot riding on it. Can they get over the hump? And then you have Coach Oliver. He's been there before. So the experience is going to play a part in this game. It's going to be a close game, but I do think if Alabama State wins, then they're knocking on that championship door.
Well, I know two guys. There's a guy named Bubba McDowell, and there's another guy named Larry Scott out in Howard. These guys have some bones to pick with you guys. Larry Scott said, was I not there at the Celebration Bowl?
He got a great point.
Right. And Bubba McDowell say, was I not a game away from getting into the Celebration Bowl myself? So those guys got some bones to pick with y'all, kind of overlooking them when it comes to these selections. But I remember a lot of, I think sometimes that's good for a team, not to have the top billings, so to speak. And let's be fair, Jackson State, that first year under Coach Prime, they didn't have the top billings when it came to the preseason accolades. So everybody was focusing on Alabama A&M with Aqeel Glass being the leader, right? Two-time Black College Football Player of the Year. So a lot of people thought it was going to be Alabama A&M, especially when they won that spring championship, right? So,
and then when you look at it, Kyle, a lot of people over here in Baton Rouge country, they are so upset with the media because how can you not talk about championship and don't bring up Southern University?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they never looked at Southern being an underdog the way it is. Had won the championship since 2013. It's 2024. Long time coming. The Jaguar fans are in an uproar. They're screaming championship. They don't care about a new coach. So you got a lot riding on these new coaches in year one.
The Jaguars are upset. The Jaguar Nation say, "Hey, hold on, baby. What about
Yeah.
us?" You
What about
know.
it?
Yeah. Well, Mickey Joseph was saying the same thing, as well as Chris Dishman. They're saying just because they're our first year coaches doesn't mean that they're going to be out of the running at the end of the season.
Right.
When I looked at the defense over at Texas Southern, man, defense looks real good.
Yeah.
They're popping guys left and right. They need some more continuity when it comes to the offense, but most teams around this time are still trying to feel their way. Most offenses really don't get gelling until when we talk about probably
It should.
second, third or fourth game of the season.
Right. Well, Coach Dishman is a defensive guy. He played in the pros, outstanding defensive back for the Houston Oilers. So he knows defense. And he's going to have his defense ready to play. They're going to be physical. And then, he's going to run their football. He's a smash mouth guy. He's going to have a physical football team. And Texas Southern is my sleeper team. They're going to upset some people this year. I do believe Coach Dishman he's gonna be kind of like the Bethune last year when they upset some people, and came in through the last minute and won a couple games. So I think he's not gonna have a bad first year.
I hear what Coach is saying. I had a chance to speak to Kimber Anders, who is one of the greats from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's in the Chiefs Hall of Fame. He's now the running backs coach for Texas Southern, and he pointed out a young man named Ford as the running back to look out for this season. He said, this kid has everything that you want: the character, the will, desire to be able to come in, learn, willing to listen, and willing to go out there and make it happen. So look out for him. We had a good conversation with Jacob Williams, the linebacker from Texas Southern as well, who's a part of several of the preseason awards and recognitions as well. So those are some talented young guys they have. And Jace Wilson looked pretty smooth back there running the offense, mostly for that scrimmage, man. So we will kind of keep our eyes on those guys, and hopefully by next week we can be able to report what we see out at Prairie View. So, all right, Coach, let's talk about something that has been kind of a hidden message, so to speak. What's happening with Coach Prime right now? And I know you guys will say, well, that's not HBCU. Well, it has some HBCU ties, from what has been going on. It seems like Coach Prime is under a lot of duress. The exchange he had with the media just recently, the CBS guy, he didn't want to answer questions. Now they went further into the investigation on Shiloh's bankruptcy case. Is it that they're doing it because Coach Prime is unfair as a coach, or is media being unfair to him, in your opinion?
It's definitely the media being unfair to him, Kyle. And here's the reason why I say this. You look at that's one of the reasons why I say you got to do it the right way. You look at Coach Prime legacy in coaching. It's so many coaches that want to be in his shoes right now. Normally coaches go be coordinators for a couple of years, but here's a guy that came into the SWAC, won 2 years, and then gets a Power 5 job. And he moves from high school, then he goes to collegiate level. Now he's in the Power 5 program. So the Wolves are hunting right now. The Wolves are hunting. And let's not leave out, he has a massive contract. People don't want to look at the meat and potatoes, but that's what it's really about. You're paying this guy a lot of money, and Colorado wants results right now because you got other coaches saying, I've been waiting on a Power 5 job for 10, 15 years. And Coach Prime comes out of nowhere and get one. Well, he deserves it. But, you're going to have these type of tactics and what we call employee traps. I think you just got to be ready for it as a head coach. We talk about it on the show, Kyle. Media is a part of the job now. And so I think it's going to blow over. These are just questions to keep the pressure on you because you got to understand that Colorado wants to win. And they invested a lot of money in Coach Prime. They have Coach Sapp in there. I think Coach Prime did an outstanding job letting Coach Sapp talk to the media, though. I thought that was a great head coaching move when you have such divisiveness between the head coach and the media. Hey, let's give the next big figure a leadership role. Let's let him talk and see how they act towards him. Because, let's face it, Kyle, he's under a lot of stress. People don't want to say he's not, but, you got Shador, Heisman candidate. You got to make sure he has a great season. Then you got a whole new offensive line. You just got to, these kids now, man, this new generation of kids, man, it's different. And, I saw he brought in Ray Lewis, which I thought was powerful to bring in and get your team ready because, you don't know about that head coaching seat until you get in it. And, man, Coach Prime, along with a lot of other, Lincoln Riley at USC, these guys are under some big pressure, Kyle. And when I'm talking about pressure, you just imagine if Coach Prime starts off 0-3. It can't happen.
Right.
But he's in a tough schedule this year. And, he's just trying to stay focused. And when you're trying to stay focused and you have all the wrong attention headed towards you, then, you're going to have these blow-up moments. And I just think it's a blow-up moment. I think it's going to blow over, but tensions are flaring because, hey, you 1 week away, Kyle.
Look, Hall of Famer, Coach Prime's friend Shannon Sharp he didn't pull any punches with his words. He said he believes it's fair, but he also believes Coach Prime he didn't say meltdown, but the way he's responding is because this may be the first time in his life that he's not number one.
Right. And to a Hall of Famer, I work with them in camps. They want they even how you tie your shoes. They want to tape a certain way.
Right.
And Shannon hit it right on the nail, Kyle. This might be the first time in his career that he goes out as an underdog because he's in a new conference as well. And so, you're playing, a tough North Dakota State team. And it goes back to the year Appalachian State played Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
They were number one in LCS, and they upset Michigan. And a lot of people are saying they shouldn't have kind of started out with this game. It's gonna be a tough game. This North Dakota State team, they're hungry, they're ready, and they're the defending champs.
They're the defending champs in the FCS, and a lot of people know they put people in the National Football League.
Right.
Trey Lance and a couple of these guys, quarterbacks have been recently number one draft picks.
Right.
And
Trey Lance talking noise. He gonna upset Coach Prime. Coach is under a lot of pressure, and he got to make sure Shiloh is ready. And like I said, man, it's a lot of stress in coaching now. You're dealing with a new generation of kids, and man, let's just hope it blows over because we're missing Coach Saban. Let's face it, We don't have that real media. We need Coach Prime. We need these media figures in sports to sell views. And let's just hope, they let bygones be bygones, kind of move on from it.
Yeah, and look, let's be fair as well. TCU thought they were going to walk
Right. Great
that
point.
first game. Coach Prime in Colorado upset them. What was
Right.
TCU just a few months prior? The college football championship game. Right? So, I mean, the pendulum swings both ways, baby. You've got to be ready for it. I think when Shannon Sharp says since he's been playing sports, he's
Right.
always been the best, always been told he was the best, and for the first time, he's not the best. Wow.
And then, Kyle, you look at it like this. Every spotlight head coach, and I just mean, Coach Saban, then you have so many great media coaches. They all had their attention with the media.
Right.
This is nothing new. I don't think it was attention when you look at the interview with Coach Prime and the media guy. He asked a legitimate question. But then, you got a million other things. Coach Prime just lost an assistant coach. So, you got a week before the game, you're dealing with that. Then you got to replace the guy within a week time. That's stress. Then you got to make sure no one else leaves because he needs you to win. It's hard to bring in a coach in a 1 week. You got to move. You got to make sure he's the right fit. And so, I just think at the moment of the interview, it was the wrong question. Because, like I said, he's dealing with a lot of stress. But I like what he did. He talked to the media. The second time go around, he pushed Coach Sapper up to talk to the media because he wants to be focused on the game. And let's just face it, a lot of the coaches are not ready for the media, but it's a part of your head coaching job now. And you got to be ready for tough questions like that, Kyle.
Tough questions. If you want to be on top, baby, the question is going to shoot at you left and right, and you can't bob and weave. You got to take the hit sometime. Look, it's just like going up in weight, baby. You got to take the hits. You want to be a baller, shot caller, brawler.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, man. And North Dakota State, they are going to play the Buffaloes at Folsom Field on Thursday, August 29th to open the season. That should be interesting. All right, let's stay with Coach Prime. His daughter, she left Colorado. She left Jackson State under Tamika Reed, which I thought that was kind of weird, to go follow her dad and brothers over to Colorado. But she made a decision against the family, so to speak, because Coach Prime wasn't too happy that she entered the NCAA transfer portal without knowing where she was going. Well, Dawn Thornton over at Alabama A&M said, come on over here, baby. We need you with the Bulldogs. And the Lady Bulldogs are with her. She said it was a tough decision for her, but she had to make it for herself. And, that's what young kids do, right? I know it so well. I got a 19-year-old in college. So, and he's like, hey, Dad, this is my decision. All right, go and stick with it, baby. That's how I look at it. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, Shalimar, she's a great, great player, great kid. She's going to do well with Coach Thornton at Alabama A&M. And I thought she did. She got in a couple games at Jackson, has some talent ahead of her, but she's going to work real well with that team at Alabama A&M. Coach Thornton's going to have her ready to play. And let's just hope she does well. It was shocking to me for her to leave Colorado. But when you look at her, she has to be developed, and she has a great shot. And now I think she's on that right fit, Kyle. It's a wide open team. They don't. The competition is probably going to be the same across the board. Mm-hmm. And who knows? She could come in into that starting five role real quick.
Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, she's going to have to go for it. And I know her dad helped her last year when she was trying to get her conditioning right and back on track. So it, look, man, it just comes to those pointed times when a young player has to have their own identity
Right.
as well. And I understand it. I don't disagree with it. And much love to her, you know?
Yeah, and she's with a great coach, Coach Thornton. When you look at, she's known for developing talent. She did an outstanding job developing those girls at Pine Bluff. She didn't have a whole lot of talent, but she's a coach that's known for developing her talent. And Shalimar, she needs to be developed, and I think she's in great hands, Kyle.
Yeah, man. Coach Thornton, and I'm just going to go out on the limb and evaluating the coaching across the SWAC for the women's basketball since Tamika Reed is no longer in the SWAC and dominating the SWAC. Alabama A&M looks like they're in a good spot, baby. They look like they're in a really good spot. So, all right, let's kind of wrap up the show from here. Let's talk about the Box to Row media poll. I want to get your thoughts on the top 10. I was a voter in this poll as well. Number 1 was Florida A&M. Number 2, Central. 3, Howard. Number 4, Alabama State. And number 5, Virginia Union. Number 6, Jackson State. Benedict came in at 7. There was a tie between Prairie View as well as Alcorn State at 8, and Virginia State wrapped up the voting at number 10. Any thoughts about those top 10 guys?
Well,
Okay.
you got to put Florida in them number 1.
You do? Do you?
I mean, they're the defending champs. They coming in, they bringing back a lot of players. You got to put them in number 1.
But you got a new coach.
Yeah, I understand that, but it was either them or Central at the number 1 spot. I think they got it right. You could have went either way. But what I do, when you look at Alabama State not being in there,
that's what was surprising to me. Alabama State did receive 2 number 1 votes, and I'll be on the record. I put them number 1.
Yeah, I mean,
I still like NCCU, but I for this vote, I put them number 1. Go ahead.
And then when you look at Jackson being 6, let's just face it, man. The fans of Jackson are not used to that either. And I it's been quiet, guys. It's been real quiet. And hopefully, Coach Taylor is gonna get them right and get them back into that championship mode. But Jackson at 6 is heartbreaking because they're used to being in that top 5 space, and sometimes when they put you at 6 and 7, they feel like, well, you better be glad you're in the top 10. And so I don't know. This is gonna rub the Tigers the wrong way, but hopefully they'll use it for momentum going into week 1, Kyle.
Yeah, I know it's already rubbed the fans are the wrong way, and boy, it has rubbed them really, really raw. And but if you look at this, is just a preseason poll, guys, and nobody knows. Nobody's really Nostradamus when it comes to this. It's all opinions, and it's just how we see things at this time. But as I told Jacob Williams, it doesn't matter until you get on the field, right?
Hey, Kyle, and one more thing. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of fans from Morgan State. I didn't realize it was Coach Wilson, year 3. A lot of fans think Morgan State going to win the MEAC.
That's a good choice, man. I think Gerald Huggins just got hired on at Morgan State today. Gerald from Draft HBCU Players.com. He just got hired as their director of football player operations or something. So congratulations to him on that. All right, we're about to wrap up the show. Guys, we have an announcement that HBCU Legends and the HBCU Legends podcast, as well as the Black Sports Insiders, we are joining or partnering with Urban Edge Network to be able to produce live streaming content this fall. We're going to have 2 shows, one HBCU Legends to do recaps of, as well as previews of games ahead, as well as the Black Sports Insiders to be able to give you some hard-hitting conversations about what's happening not only in HBCU, but also in the world of the black athlete and coaches, as well as notable figures there. So I'm excited to be the executive producer of that, and we're going to have that starting off in September, on September 1st, matter of fact. All right, Coach, tell everybody how they can find you on the World Wide Web.
They can find me at Tycoon League 2, the number 2 at gmail.com, along with HBCU Legends at Sports Illustrated with the great Kyle T. Mosley.
No.
Hey, we love our fans. We love what they're doing, and keep supporting us. We're going to have a surprise for y'all at the end of the season.
Yeah, and also Ralph Cooper, we're going to be back on with Ralph Cooper on every Tuesday night this season, and we should have our first show within 2 weeks. So be listening in to Coach and I with Coop, who is the legend of 55 years in broadcasting. Yeah, one last thing. Go ahead, Coach.
That's KCOH 1230 AM.
In Houston, Texas. All right. That is Coach Daryl Steward. I am Coach. No, I ain't the coach. I'm Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends. Go to KTMOZE on all the social media platforms, or you can also go to HBCU Legends on all social media platforms as well. Check us out at hbculegends.net. I'm Kyle T. Mosley. Let's have a great weekend. Be safe and always be tenacious. Thank you.
This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first call your parents to say, I'm sorry. And then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee for your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Ah, the sizzle of McDonald's sausage. It's enough to make you crave your favorite breakfasts. Enough to head over to McDonald's. Enough to make you really wish this commercial were scratch and sniff.
And if you're a sausage person, now get 2 satisfyingly savory sausage McGriddles, sausage biscuits, or sausage burritos for just $3.33. Or mix and match. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.